Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be Centered Driven Masculine Man. I've got two really good emails. They're both success stories I want to share with you. The first one is actually from a woman who shares how my work has helped her to make better quality choices in her dating life. And she describes the guy that she's dating and why she feels attraction for him. And it lines up completely perfectly with what I teach in my first book, How to Be a 3% Man. And the second email success story is from a guy who shares how my work helped him to find his wife, and they're expecting their first child. So I thought these are two great success stories that really focused on the importance of being centered, of being masculine, and being driven, and how this creates attraction in women and keeps them attracted to you. So I got a quote that I wrote, then we're going to go through both these emails. And the quote says, "To know who you are, what you want, and why you want it is the first step in the process of accomplishing your grandest goals and dreams and reaching your full potential. If you don't know who you are and what you want, you won't value yourself or your time. If you don't value yourself or your time, you won't do anything valuable with your life. If you don't have emotionally compelling reasons why you want what you want, you'll never have strong enough reasons to force yourself to take action with any real focus or consistency when you inevitably encounter challenges, setbacks, or obstacles. If you are unable or unwilling to do what's necessary to make yourself happy and get what you want in life, it will be almost impossible to attract and keep a good woman as a lover and a teammate." Remember, as I talk about in my first book, How to Be a 3% Man, which you can read for free right now by going to my website and subscribing to the email newsletter, women want to feel safe and comfortable. In other words, as a man, you got to have your shit together in life. You got to have your mission and your purpose figured out. It doesn't mean you've got to be a millionaire and successful and have it all figured out first, but at least you got to know what you want, and then you got to know why you want it. In other words, the why are the compelling reasons why you're creating and aligning your life with the daily activities that you're involved in. Guys who are looking to women to make them happy, or a woman to complete them, like you see in those sappy bullshit movies that Hollywood just cranks out constantly that are useless. If you behave that way, women are not going to feel safe and comfortable. I mean, think about it. If you meet a woman and both of you have successful careers and you're both working, and then you have 2 or 3 kids, I mean, it's going to be better for the children if somebody can stay home and give the attention to the kids they need when they're really young. Well, a woman's not going to feel safe and comfortable doing that if you're squirrely and all over the ice and you're constantly going from job to job and you don't really know what you want to do with your life. That's going to cause a woman to feel very unsafe and very uncomfortable. And women don't want to teach a man how to be a man. They'll be your greatest cheerleader, but you got to take care of you first. Like one of my favorite quotes from Jim Rohn is, "I'll take care of me for you, and you take care of you for me." So with that in mind, let's go through this first email. She says, "Dear Corey, can I just say how amazing it is to finally date, for the first time in my life, a truly centered, driven, masculine man who knows who and what he is and wants. Quality female company to complement his life." So in other words, she's dating a guy that got his shit together first. He got his career in order. He got his life in order. He's got his friendships, his peer group, his inner circle in order. He knows what he wants, and he knows where he's going in life. That's first and foremost. Like I said, you could be in college and know, you could be 18 years old or 16 years old and know what you're going to do with your life and have it all figured out. And women are going to find that attractive because you're driven, because you're focused, because you're motivated, because you know what you want. You're going places, and guys that are going places are going on an adventure. And obviously, women love to accompany guys who are going on a fun and exciting, compelling adventure. The adventure obviously being creating a cool life and lifestyle, filled up with great, fun people to hang out with. I'm a 33-year-old attractive woman who truly came into her own after leaving a long, unhappy marriage and pursuing what she really wants in life. So you can see she also did work on herself. She was in an unhappy marriage, wasn't any fun, obviously, and she left. And she focused on creating a great life and lifestyle for herself so she could also be a happy, whole, complete person to complement a man's life, not some woman that's looking for some dude to take care of her. She's an equal, she's a teammate, and these are ideally, if you're going to be in a long-term relationship, the kind of women you want to date. Now, if you're just looking to hook up and screw around, it really doesn't fucking matter because the girls aren't going to be in your life for very long. But if you want something more meaningful in your life, if you genuinely like women and the company of women, and you want to be around women who stimulate your mind, your heart, your soul, in addition to your body, of course, you got to take care of you, and you got to date women that have their shit together as well. Since I left, I got in shape. I started my PhD in a foreign country, taught myself 3 languages, and managed to get my depression under control. So obviously she had some shit to take care of on her own. She developed herself to become a better catch or a good catch for a man. That's awesome. She didn't do it because of a man, she did it because of herself. In other words, she became the kind of woman that she wanted to attract in a man. But after the horrible breakup with my husband, a year-long ordeal in which he burned his life to the ground and lashed out at me, and then a failed rebound relationship with a weak man, I admit I was pretty damn sore at men. Yeah, we all tend to blame other people. That's not my fault. It's these other people. Well, like Wayne Dyer used to say, wherever you are in life, your best thinking got you to where you are. That's a comforting thought. And the reality is the person you see in the mirror every day, that's the person that is the only person really that can fix your life. That disappointment and resentment stewed in me to the point where I knew I had to redirect it somehow. So she turned it around and used it as fuel. She didn't say, I'm defeated, my life's over, it sucks, it's never going to get any better. She asked herself the right kind of questions. What can I do to make my life better? What can I do to attract better quality men, in her case, into her life? And she set about the task of doing that. I decided counterintuitively that one way to rework that anger towards dudes was to date a good one and come to understand what I want and what a quality man wants. And obviously when she got to that point, she found yours truly. I got into your work and I can attest to its power. Well, how many times have I said over the years, even if you think I'm totally fucking full of shit, if you apply the things that I teach in both of my books, including Mastering Yourself, the new one, you will get fucking results. Well, I remember when I first started, put my book out there and started doing videos on the internet. Oh man, the pushback that I got and the nasty reviews that I got and people telling me I was talking out my ass, didn't know what I was talking about. But there was also a large group of people that were actually saying, you know what, I think this shaved head motherfucker's got some good things that I'm going to try. And they went out and did it. And obviously that's why there's so many great success stories and great reviews and great comments all over the internet about me and my book. Because what I teach works, even if you don't like it. The reality is the truth is a nasty fucking pill to swallow. But once you swallow that pill and you've calmed down, as the old saying goes, the truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. Obviously, I'm pissing a few people off with my second book because there's things in there that are really fucking uncomfortable. And I'm brutally honest, and I tell it like it is. And at the end of the day, well, as the late great Steve McQueen said, I live for myself and I answer to nobody. I do what's right for me and I speak my truth, and you know what? Everybody that's watching this should be doing the same thing in their own lives. I joined OkCupid, and yeah, it was pretty much like throwing chum in the water. Men who were way too eager to meet me were instantly rejected. Men who pushed for sex without seducing me properly were rejected. which I teach the seduction process also in my book. But I did meet a man, an engineer, who displayed masculine yet respectful confidence. Didn't feel the need to throw his resume at me, so I could slowly discover his accomplishments to my delight. Remember how we talk about in the book? Ask questions, be sincerely, authentically interested in the other person, and let her ask the questions. Let her be the one that's curious. Just like a cat. When cats are curious, they stick around. When they get bored, they leave. And most importantly, was patient. She put in big, bold letters. He didn't over-pursue. He chose where our dates would be, so I didn't have to. He was direct. He was decisive. He got right to the fucking point. Men who are in their masculine energy, this is really easy to do. Also, if you're in sales, you know that you sell prospects in person, face to face. So he just handled that stuff. And even though she's successful in her own right, it allowed her as a woman to settle into her feminine energy and be totally cool with her man leading the way. He went for the kiss. He didn't ask for intimacy, but instead simply invited me to his place and let things happen organically. Now my high sex drive, ooh, that's a bonus, is not only reignited after years of dormancy, but utterly satisfied. Dude's a stud. He hasn't asked for a relationship, but shows signs he wants one. I don't feel rushed. If a woman is always chasing you, she's not dumping you. I admit I've gently tested him to see if he would become needy and jealous. In other words, she trolled his ass. All women troll you to a degree. I mean, the world troll. You look at Twitter or the internet, anywhere. We're all trolling each other. But when it comes to women trolling men, they want to see what you're fucking made of. Are you a man? Are you going to laugh it off? Are you not going to let shit get under your skin? Or are you going to lose your shit and get angry and start defending yourself, and then she's going to see you for the weak bitch that you really are? No bueno. I've already dealt with that in men, and it's extremely unpleasant and a total attraction killer. But he has passed them all, so I'm slowly opening my heart to him and showing him that he's gaining my deeper affections and trust, all because he maintains self-control. Notice what she says next. I respect him. If a woman doesn't respect you, she will never love you. Respect yourself first and treat others with respect, and don't tolerate fucking bullshit. Once my husband and the rebound lost my respect, they lost me. But my new man has his own shit going on, doesn't demand all my attention, respects me and my freedom. Remember, you must love in such a way that the person you love feels free and will go for what he wants in life. In other words, he's got his own shit going on. He's got his own mission and purpose in life, and he's pursuing it no matter what. He'd love for her to join him, but it's okay if she doesn't. Because if she doesn't, there'll be somebody else that will. Because he has all these elements, I am wildly attracted to him. He is showered with affection, which he seems to like. I can finally be a real woman. Thank you for all you do. Well, congratulations to you and your man. Sure sounds like somebody that may have come across my book. One of these days, you should ask him, maybe down the road. And if so, send me another email. Let us know. So let's go through the second email. He says, hey, Coach, I wanted to thank you for your videos, your book, and your knowledge. I struggled for a long time understanding the female species, and I never really had a problem getting dates or hanging out, having fun, and hooking up. But all my long-term relationships ultimately failed. I finally put the blame on myself, and in my search found your wisdom, along with a lot of other frauds who didn't really understand women, just knew how to pick them up. Yeah, what you'll notice with people that are in that's all they do is pick up, is they tend to be pretty shallow. They talk shallow. They talk shallow to other people that they do it with, and they have shallow bullshit conversations with people that just mean nothing. And to them, they get their validation in their ability to pick up and seduce women, and the next day or the next weekend, they're on to somebody else. And they're never satisfied. And because they don't really value high-quality relationships, they just simply don't have high-quality relationships, not only with themselves, but with women and other people. I watched hundreds of your videos, read your book multiple times, and it all made sense, but it truly took work to actually implement it. Absolutely true. You have to work for it. The stuff that I teach works, but you got to show up and do your part and take action. You can study my book and read it 10 to 15 times. Both of them read it 10 to 15 times. But if you don't apply and practice this stuff, it's really useless. I think it was the Buddha said, faith without action is meaningless. I even failed a couple more times in relationships, but each time I was able to look back, pinpoint my mistakes, make changes, and become a better person. Failure is the greatest teacher. Because what you're really trying to overcome is your old programming, the old way that society and your friends, your family, your peer group influenced you to be. And we're all, unfortunately, have to listen to this bullshit that comes out of Hollywood and TV and what you see in the news and the media. It's just absolute fucking nonsense. And it doesn't work in the real world. It's great in make-believe. It doesn't work in the real world, though. The information I learned also goes further than intimate relationships. I literally apply the knowledge to my everyday life, my career, my friends, my family, etc. Everything I teach in my first book is more of like an autobiography in my personal life, what I learned in pickup dating and relationships. And my second book, Mastering Yourself, is written in the same format. It's an autobiography where I tell stories and the wisdom that I learned all throughout the book. I talk about health. I talk about finance. I talk about taking care of your body and cleansing and detoxing properly. I talk about mindsets. I talk about figuring out what you want, what your purpose is, how to get there, all the challenges that I've overcome, because we all have challenges. And what you're really getting is my lifetime of experience. And in 655 pages, you can pretty much learn everything that I learned over the last 48 years in my professional life. And then my first book was I think it was like 270 pages. You learn the best of everything. And the greatest thing is, if you can't afford it, that's okay, because it's all free on my website. Just go subscribe to the newsletter, and you can read them both on my website for free. Apply it, get results in maybe 6 months, a year or two down the road. Whenever you can afford it, throw me a 5-spot or a 10-spot, or refer me to your friends and family. Just as a way to say thanks. Pay it forward. Help a friend of yours out. Turn him on to my work. Or her. All my relationships have improved, and in turn, I have a better life. Well, remember what Tony Robbins says, the quality of your life is in direct proportion to the quality of the people who you consistently spend your time with. And it's also in direct proportion to the expectations of your peer group. If your peer group sucks, and they're miserable, and they have no goals, and they want nothing in life, well, they're going to try to keep you at their level with everything they've got. Because people don't, like I said earlier, people don't like the truth. They don't want to wake up to the fact that they're actually responsible for their lives being the way they are. It's much easier to blame other people. Alphas take personal responsibility for their lives. Betas fucking bitch, and they whine, and they fucking complain, and they point the finger at other people, when the reality is they're too fucking weak to do anything to help themselves. And that's reality. Ultimately, I ended up meeting my wife. She's my teammate. We're expecting our first child. And it was just like you said it would be, an easy relationship that just flows well. Well, ideally, if you're looking for a long-term relationship, when you date women that have really great relationships with their mom and especially their dad, they've learned to trust men when they were little girls. And so this is in their energy, this is in their vibe, and life is hard enough. And when you have disagreements, if you got a girl that grew up in a dysfunctional family and she never learned to communicate in a healthy way, often it's impossible to be with somebody like that. But the best candidates are women that have a great relationship with their dad and their mom and their parents are still together. They're very rare. And they're worth the wait, and they're worth taking the time. Once you find that type of relationship, you know why all the others have failed, and it's such a peace of mind. So once again, thanks. I still watch your videos, and if there's only one question I have, I would ask how to keep a long-term marriage flowing so it doesn't fizzle out like so many do. I guess the easy answer is just keep being a 3% man. Even knowing the rules, we get lazy at times. Always open to some quick tips. Well, considering the fact that pretty much 99% of the guys that come to me that are having problems in their marriages, they're already in marriage counseling and therapy. I see the same pattern over and over. There's two reasons why the relationship doesn't work out. The first one is they stopped doing what caused their wife or girlfriend, if it's a long-term relationship, to fall in love with them. What you do to get her to fall in love is what you're going to do to keep her in love. The courtship never ends. I have a whole chapter devoted in my first book to that topic. That's the biggest thing, is guys stop dating and courting their women because they get caught up in their careers, their lives. And the other main reason why men struggle in their long-term relationships is they don't understand women. They don't understand how to communicate with women effectively. I actually did a video many years ago called How to Communicate with Women Effectively. Very simple, but men and women communicate differently. And when you understand the differences, like I explain in my book, then you can solve these things. But again, it's all based on the premise that you made a good selection and you got a good, healthy woman. Because the more screwed up her home life happened to be, the harder it's going to be to have an easy, effortless relationship with somebody like that. And those are just the rules of the road. And you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to go to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book whatever coaching option works for you. And I will talk to you soon.